Ladies and gentlemen, there is a new twist in the Cash for News scam. NewsClick HR head Amit Chakravarty, who is also accused in the case, has sought the Delhi court to turn a prover in the case. Will Amit Chakravarty blow the lid of the foreign funding link? Here are the developments and then we begin the debate.
The NewsClick probe took a fresh turn today. The news portal's HR head moved the Delhi High Court to file an application to turn a government witness in the case.
A major breakthrough in the NewsClick case that is being investigated by the Delhi Police Special Cell. Amit Chakravarty, who is the head of the human resources in the NewsClick case and who has been arrested by the Delhi Police under charges of UAPA, now has filed an application in Patiala House Court where he has mentioned that he wants to be the government witness.
The Delhi Police's special cell has accused NewsClick of receiving foreign funds from Chinese agents to spread anti-India propaganda. Both the founder, Prabir, Purkayastha, and the HR head were charged under the UAPA in October. Sources have told Republic that special cell submitted probe report last week.
Prabir Purkayastha on December 22nd had also filed a bail application. However, his bail was denied and his custody was further extended. Coincidentally, it is on this day only when Amit Chakravarty, also in the same court where Prabir Purkayastha had applied for the bail, later came and submitted an application in which he mentioned that he now wanted to be a government witness.
Will Amit Chakravarty blow the lid off foreign funding link? Let's debate.
Well, for the longest time, this was the argument when a case was registered against NewsClick by the Enforcement Directorate and thereafter the Delhi Police Special Cell, that look here, this particular group is being targeted only because they criticize the Modi government. Ladies and gentlemen, an insider today, someone who has been part and parcel of the entire game, has now filed an application in the court. And what is it that the NewsClick has been accused of? NewsClick has essentially been accused of peddling Chinese propaganda, and that too for the money that they were essentially getting. Binay saying Amit Chakravarty, the head HR of NewsClick, is now willing to spill the bean. What really happens to that long list of the lobby who had basically been a signatory, and there was a statement that was issued. They said that it is an attack on the right of the people of the country to information that can enable them to fight against injustice. They call this as injustice that was meted out. Binay.
Shravan, this is not only, what charges are, labeled against NewsClick. The real charges are the national security perspective. You can look at it. They didn't just try to propagate the Chinese propaganda, but they tried to further the fault lines of the Indian society. And I am surprised that why just ED and CBI are into this case. It's a perfect case for the NIA. It's a perfect case for the NIA. And one more thing, Savan. Look at Republic is a news organization. How do you run the organization? You have a model, you have a commercial model, you have a revenue model. What is the revenue model of NewsClick? If they were making payment to their journalist, or if you visit the NewsClick office, you are offered a coffee or a pizza, the payment was made by donations coming from abroad. And that also from those people, those entities, those organizations, those who are anti-India. They have an anti-India, track record or anti-India history. And I am surprised, Shravan, that till date, many journalists, many, so-called civil rights champions, they are, giving certificate to Prabir Purkayastha and NewsClick. And I want to ask,
Binay, I'm not really surprised.
That if the court will prove them guilty, so will they publish an article or will they write a piece that yes, that was their mistake in analyzing, Prabir or NewsClick?
Turning an approver was well, this is also another story that has been completely blanked out. And I'm not really surprised, Nikhil Jain. After all, who exactly is supporting the NewsClick? Indian American Muslim Council. Now, Indian American Muslim Council is that same very lobby firm that was blacklisted by the US Commission on the International Religious Freedom. They were outraging over it. The CPM says the exemplary manner in which the PRC, that's People Republic of China, tackled and contained the COVID pandemic, also say that you should condemn the attack on NewsClick. 38 crore rupees, Nikhil Jain, has been received by an organization, as Binay was saying, does not have a revenue model. And there is evidence to the fact that the moment they received the money, they actually peddled the Chinese propaganda. Please tell me, are you going to, in any sane mind, really say that, look here, China really handled the pandemic really well? That's exactly what NewsClick did.
I don't think China, no, Shravan, I don't think China handled the pandemic very well. If for anything, they are the reason why the world had to go through the sort of pandemic that we did. Had they been more transparent with the information that they were giving out to the people and to other countries in the world, we would have all been better off. But so far as this NewsClick case is concerned, I completely agree with the previous panelists that why is the National Investigative Agency not looking into it? Why is it the ED and other agencies that are concerned with financial irregularities looking at it instead of agencies that are to do with terrorism? And one very important point that all your viewers must know and understand is that Republic, or I think some other channel, in 2021 was making these allegations, but the government of India chose to do nothing about it except raid them with the ED, because at that point of time they were also critical of the Modi government. So far as these allegations of the Chinese link and the Chinese paying them money to peddle propaganda in India is concerned, there was no activity from the government of India for 2 years. I don't understand how can there be such level of intelligence failure on the part of the government, that an organization is doing that, taking money from practically what is an enemy country to us right now. And the government had no clue. They only were interested in ED and money laundering. That is the problem, that they are more interested in vindicting and victimizing those who speak against them, whether they're good people or bad people, than actually caring about the security and national security and sovereignty of the country.
Think about it. Nikhil, you are think about this. What your argument is like this. Okay, your argument is simply like this. A, you are saying that you have a problem, that there is an investigation that has been carried out against this organization called NewsClick.
No.
B,
I don't have a problem. I don't have a
saying
problem.
That this investigation is happening only because they've been critical of the government. C, you said that there is an intelligence failure because NewsClick had actually allegedly received money from dubious sources. What exactly are you trying to say?
Absolutely. What I'm trying to say is that NewsClick was doing something that was against the interest of the country, and so far it seems so. Why was the government not able to deal with them in the right manner? Why does it have to be an ED raid? Why can it not be an NIA investigation? Did the government have no reports from the RAW or from the IB? These are questions of national security. See, ED is an agency for money laundering.
The Delhi Police Special Cell has already invoked UAPA.
I am interested in national security.
Okay, now.
And this government is constantly failing on it. Look at the parliament.
Let me just try and explain this to you. Let me just try and explain this to you. No, 1 second. It is a step-by-step process. It's a step-by-step process, number one. As far as NewsClick is concerned, first with regards to the money that actually came in, that was allegedly received by this particular organization. UAPA charges were basically leveled later when there was more evidence that was gathered. So I don't see a problem in that. But Gyanendra, if I can also bring
problem is that UAPA charges are 2 years.
Will you also be a part of that entire lobby which essentially said that there was injustice that was meted out against NewsClick? The same very organization whose HR head is now saying that, look here, money was allegedly received.
Okay, thank you. अभी आया सर आवाज बोल रहे चेक ना
Gyanendra Mishra, I'm not too sure whether he's being able to hear. We'll try and reconnect this. Binay, why don't you quickly respond to what Nikhil Jain is saying? Nikhil Jain saying that what is the government really doing all this while?
Shravan, I agree with you and Nikhil both that yes, there are steps and certainly it is a case of NIA. and I will step in some time. But the fact of the matter is, Saman, that each and every country, small or big, they have made provisions to check funds coming from abroad. Like USA, you take it for example, they have FARA, F-A-R-A. Like Russia, you take Undesirable Organizations Act 2015. They check these funds. In India, we amended the act and it is FCRA 2020. After FCRA 2020, it is the fact of the matter that such organizations, the anti-India elements, anti-India funds, organizations, they were choked. They were not having ample funds or ample oxygen to breathe. And Shravan, one more thing I would like to say, it's very important, that persons like Naval Rai Singham, persons the type of George Soros, these persons or these type of organizations, open society or other organizations, they must be marked as enemy organizations. And these funds, they should be marked as enemy funds. So any organization in India, those who are associated with enemy entities or those who are beneficiaries of enemy funds should be taken care of.
Gyanendra Mishra, okay. Binay, let me also get in Gyanendra. Gyanendra, why should an organization which has been peddling propaganda on behalf of an enemy country should actually get the kind of sympathy that the lobby wants to extend it to them? Why is it that the same very lobby actually sides with an IAMC? It is the same very political party which basically, for the sake of supporting the Communist Party of China, the CCP, they will go stand on one leg and still support them.
No, see, Shravan, thank you for having me here. See, that this is a very dangerous tendency that we are pronouncing guilty to the individual and organization without even the trial is complete and they are pronounced guilty by the court of law. The point is that yes, there are certain charges which has been leveled against the NewsClick and its founder. They are under the judicial custody for a long time now, even when the trial has not started. And this is again a very, dangerous trend where the people are put behind the bar for months and sometimes years together, even when the trials is not commenced. What to talk about the completion of the trial. And that is the travesty of justice. That's the travesty of right to life and dignity. And that's the travesty to many other fundamental rights which the Constitution guarantees you. As far as, the question of that whether there was any Chinese funding to the organization or whether they indulge into any propaganda on behalf of, the Chinese government, that is yet to be established. I don't think there is any credible evidence on record at this point in the investigation which proves that there has been any Chinese funding, one, and secondly, this Chinese funding is not in accordance with the law, and third, this funding has been done to propagate the propaganda of the Chinese government. Therefore, before reaching to or jumping to a conclusion,
at least, I'm not saying it stands the scrutiny of the court. Gyanendra Mishra, no one is going to argue that after all, it's the scrutiny of the court is yet to be done on this entire matter. Prima facie, simply going by the evidence that has been put forth on the table, and at least when the arguments have been made inside the court, simply going by that and what we are seeing clearly goes on to indicate that there is something seriously wrong. The very fact that you have Prabir Purkayastha, his bail being rejected by the Honorable Court, is primarily on the grounds that the court is satisfied with the fact that there is primary evidence on this entire matter. Binay, one last word to you on this matter, and then perhaps even Nikhil Jain can come in for a quick word. Binay, you've heard what Gyanendra is saying, that there is yet to be any of these allegations are yet to be proven. So why exactly jump the guns?
Shravan, as far as journalists are concerned, you or my friends in the panel, they are one of the brightest minds of the world. Many times the investigation done by a journalist has led to evidence, has proved to be evidence for the police. Many times, in many cases, the police were helpless and the journalists did an investigation and it was great. So if you say that why to jump to a conclusion that they are guilty when the proceeding is going on, the same applies to you, Mr. Sir, that why you jump to a conclusion that he is not guilty? Because many articles, many people, they are giving him.
So no one is. Sorry, no one is jumping. No one is jumping to the conclusion that he is not guilty.
That's why his remark.
See, there cannot be any conclusion. See, the individual conclusion does not matter at all. What I conclude, what you conclude, do not matter.
That whose novel
either in terms of the guilt or in terms of innocence.
If someone is connected
that is
to
the
them,
process.
You know what their intentions
law will establish who is guilty or not.
I'm sure you are one
but
of the
as far as the Shravan is talking about the
okay, Binay, I'm really running short of
I don't give any credibility without denying
Nikhil
or accepting the bail.
Nikhil, a quick word. 30 seconds quickly. Nikhil, I'm really running short of time.
There is no uniformity at all. As far as the bail law is concerned,
essentially that in India, until proven in a court of law, everybody is deemed to be not guilty. They may or may not be guilty, but the question for the country is why did the government not act on the matter sooner? Why were they not charged under the right sections 2 years ago when all this news came out? Of course, we should wait for the probe before just brandishing them as guilty. But of course, the matter needs to be looked into, and the government is way too late in this. This is nothing but an intelligence failure on the part of the government.
Well, thank you very much, Binay, Nikhil, as well as Gyanendra Mishra for joining us on the debate. That's all that we could pack today.